What's up, everybody? Unrested back again, taking a walk and talking talk, hitting you back up with some information about some of the stuff Sam and I talked about on that 2.5 Maji Yabai Yatsura. Some people, for the most part, we got a great positive response, and I want to say thank you to everybody who watched, and I want to say it's really inspiring for us to continue to do that series. 270 comments in the 45 minutes that we were pretty much on air. Well, about an hour we were on air, but in the first 45 minutes we had over 270 comments. I usually don't get even that much on a video where 2,000 people have watched, so that was pretty amazing, and I'd like to thank you once again all for watching that. If you don't ever get to see those, if they come on for a weird time for you, just know that we actually have them recorded. Actually, YouTube has them recorded automatically, and then we just leave it uploaded on there so that you can watch later. So if it is a weird time for you, don't worry too much. You'll get to see it no matter what. I'm gonna leave it up there and always leave it as a JFAQ. I wanted to talk a little bit about some people who were a tad disheartened by some of the stuff we said, as far as the fact that it can be a frustrating line of work to be an ALT. And other jobs that you'll work in Japan can be frustrating. I don't want people really to be too disheartened. I just want you to know that even though we talked some trash about those jobs, it was mostly because our actual subject for that 2.5 was about some of the negatives that come with the job, because honestly I usually do talk about only the positives, but I really wanted to hit up some of the negative aspects just to be realistic. I think that's the most important part when heading over here to Japan, is to be realistic that, you know, it's not going to be a cakewalk. You're not going to be movie star status all the time, and your job is not going to be superb. Unfortunately, there are a lot of social standards in Japan that they don't necessarily need to change, but they're not going to change either. As far as the way they learn English here, it's not going to change anytime soon, and at the same time, it's not a way in which people will learn English here. That's been proven for many, many years now, and they continue to struggle with the fact that their education system never changes for English. And I think that's where you're going to really run into the most frustrating aspect, is if you really do want to come to a school and make a huge difference. There is the chance at some eikaiwas, but there really isn't a lot of chance when you're going to work an ALT job, especially one where the actual English teacher controls the classroom. And that's mostly because of the material that the education board doles out. It's not chosen by the actual teachers you work with. They are assigned texts. Currently, if I'm correct, I don't know totally if I am, so other teachers out there watching my stuff, you can correct me. I believe the old text for elementary school was one called Eigo Noto, which was the most mixed up bunch of junk ever. For example, one lesson taught hello in about 16 different languages from all different countries around the world, which if you think about it, that's great, but it doesn't really make any sense because those other languages are not English, so why are we teaching other languages that we don't even speak? Like, I know one of them was like, how to say it in Swedish, and that's great. I mean, I think Sweden's an awesome country, but if I'm teaching English, why am I teaching Swedish? Because I can't speak a word. So you can just see just from that one lesson there, and that's the first lesson in the book. That's the Aisatsu introduction lesson. So you run into a lot of frustrating situations like that, and that's mostly what our focus was. I don't want you to be disheartened by that or think that it's going to be constant drudgery to work these jobs, because to be quite honest, working the job of an ALT is easy as heck. I mean, gosh, you can't complain about how much free time you get there. If you have a hobby, especially like myself, back when I first started and I had time that I needed to draw to improve my techniques before I got my artist job, that was great for me, because I would teach maybe 2 or 3 classes, have to be there 8 hours, and that would be the rest of the day I got to draw. So if you want a job in which you're working towards starting another career, I would highly suggest you choose ALT. Eikaiwa, and especially, oh god, especially international kindergartens are going to take up a ton of your time, especially, god, international kindergartens. If you absolutely love working with little kids, that's the job for you, but if you don't, you know, if you want to have some free time, you want to have a little bit of time to yourself during the day, don't take that job. You will go insane because that is, 8 hours plus, and kindergarten work is non-stop. I mean, they even make you eat with the kids at some schools, so you don't even get like a lunch break. So I wouldn't suggest that for anybody. I know by law they're supposed to give you a lunch break, but that's another frustrating thing you'll find out about Japan. There's no real government enforcement on hours worked, pay, or not giving you a break. I have worked at some schools that just never gave me a lunch break, so unfortunately that's the truth. But like I said, you need to do your time. You probably do need to start out working one of these jobs. Yes, there's ways around it. Yes, there's ways to get into other jobs. And if you're really super serious about that, like Sam was talking about getting into IT, you'll do all the work to get into it. He said his friend made a huge portfolio of work he had done. He sent out a bunch of stuff to a bunch of different Japanese companies. Writing to someone like me or Sam and asking how to do that means you're already not really trying very much, because number one, neither one of us work in IT jobs, so how would we have any networking in that? Also on top of it, we don't really have knowledge of that entire business arc, so really what you should be doing is researching how to expose yourself in whatever career you want. For example, I myself studied into different ways of networking, getting into gallery shows, getting my art into different bars, cafes to start small, worked my way up from there. That's something you need to do in your own career path too. In short, what I'm trying to say is don't be disheartened by the fact that you might have to start out as an English teacher. Yeah, at times it sucks, and we all have to do our time sometimes in that, but it can have its advantages, such as the ALT job. Until next time, I'm Unrested. This is JFAQ. Have a good one.